What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Flagrant Talk Sports Podcast. And today, the big video is here. The official Flagrant Talk March Madness bracket breakdown, running through the entire field, starting at the round of 64 all the way to our championship. Zay, the day is here. Bracketology's done. It's the real deal. What do we got, man?
It's the real deal. And guess what, everybody? Moses and I have the scripts. We got insider info from the committee. They rigged the games, they fixed the games, and they told Moses and I who is going to win every game. However, they said there's two outcomes. There's like two brackets. They're deciding. So that's why ours are different.
Yep.
But yeah, on a real note, we've got all of our picks, all of our predictions, all of those bracketology videos, those talks about sleeper teams, those talks about players to watch, everything like that, done. It's time to shut up and put up and say who we are picking for each and every game. Moses and I, as we do for all of our videos, did not say who we have in each bracket. So this is going to be just as surprising to me as it is my good friend Moses here.
Yep.
I already gave my brief thoughts on the bracket, how badly seeded it was, how much hate the Mountain West got, how unfairly I think UConn got as a draw. Moses was not there, though. So, Moses, before we get to picking, is there anything that you want to get off your chest as a Boise State Broncos supporter that you would like to say about the way the committee did this bracket?
We see the shirt. We know the lore if we've been around. I am a Boise State Bronco. And we were absolutely fleeced. And I will take that to the grave. 10 seed play-in is absolutely ridiculous. After being clearly in, we did numerous bubble videos. We did numerous takes on updated Lenardi brackets, all that. And we didn't talk about Boise State a single time. Not a single time.
No.
And now, brackets out. Dust is settled. We got to play for our right to get into the damn tourney on Wednesday. Colorado State, also in the same position, somehow fell to the last team in the bracket, which is insane to me. Utah State, ranked for most of the year, somehow fallen down to an 8 seed. New Mexico winning the Mountain West, 11. Nevada, 10. It's pretty ridiculous. They tried to cover it up, Most of their wins were in conference, this and that. I get it. It's tough. I get it. But this was the greatest season the Mountain West has ever seen. And to me, it's conference bias. I'm just going to come out and say it. I find it pretty ridiculous. And some teams they reap rewards from that, and others have to face consequences of that. And that was the Mountain West. And I think that's sucky. Yeah. So we're gonna get into the games here soon.
Yeah.
But that's just my brief little rant that I wanted to give. BS.
Yes.
BS.
Yeah, I agree with Moses. Obviously, this is me. I'm an outsider. I'm a Zags fan, and I'm a Eastern Washington fan. I have no ties to the Mountain West. Besides Moses, there's not a reason or an incentive for me to really go to bat for the Mountain West. But I think when the committee seeds them, along with a lot of teams, which we'll get into as poorly as they did, there's a problem. And it shows too with a team like New Mexico that if they didn't win the Mountain West, they're not even close.
Yeah.
There was no hope for them to make it. I wouldn't have been super mad if they didn't make it, but I just think it's ridiculous that the way they were seated, because now you get it. Everyone automatically is hating on the Mountain West. They're saying, hey, they're not good enough. They just fight each other. Their non-con wins aren't good, besides San Diego State schedules some. So then you underseed them, and now they have to go through way harder paths to do well. So you're going to see a Nevada lose. You might see a New Mexico lose to Clemson. You might see all these things. Colorado State and Boise State might both lose in the first 4.
Yeah.
And it's BS because
Yeah.
their paths are not accurate of how good they've been this season.
100%.
So with that rant out of the way,
let's jump into it.
Ladies and gents, this year's March Madness bracket, the first ever of many, Flagrant Talk brackets.
Yep.
The script is in. The way we're going to do this, we're going to go game by game. Moses and I obviously aren't 100% the same on picks. And then at the end of each region, we'll go through. We'll have all of Mo's picks up there for you to look at, and then all of my picks for you to look at. Moses, let's get us started up in the upper left region, the East, also known as UConn, the defending champs region.
Yep.
Going up against our guys in Stetson. Does Stetson pull off the biggest upset in college basketball history?
Well, first of all, I want to say Stetson, unbelievable season, conference tourney winners. Some of the best guard play that I watched live all year in their conference tourney. Unbelievable shot making, unbelievable plays down the stretch. Really great season. Disappointed that they have to go up against the number one seed in UConn, because I think that shouldn't be the case. I feel like Stetson should have gotten obviously any one of the 1 seeds is a tough draw, but a lighter draw for them.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna go with the Huskies here. Stetson, though, it's not a cakewalk for the Huskies. They should be worried if they've done the research, watched what they did in the conference tourney. So
yeah, I agree with Moses. I have UConn winning. Jalen Blackman for Stetson. First off, big congrats to Stetson as a team. This is their first time going dancing.
Mm-hmm.
Welcome. Now you get to play UConn.
Yeah.
This region as a whole, I think the committee butchered terribly. You could argue the best 2, 3, 4 are all in this region.
Yeah.
Obviously, UConn's the best one. I know this is a nitpicky one, but I legitimately think Stetson is the best 16 seed as well.
Yeah.
And they're playing UConn. Like,
insane.
I think it's ridiculous. I do have the Huskies advancing,
Mm-hmm.
but then we've got a fun one. FAU versus Northwestern. FAU going on that Final Four run last year in the same slot.
Yeah.
Going up against Northwestern, Boo Booey, an absolute dog. What have you got, Mo?
Northwestern, team that knocked the Broncos out last year in the first round. Both of these teams very solid all around. I expect this to be a really good game. I'm going with the Florida Atlantic boys, the Night Owls, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
They're, like we said, Final Four potential last year. Basically the exact same team. They have the experience. They know what it takes to win in March. When it comes to the bright lights, they've been there, done that. Shaky year for them. Tough end of the season, not winning their conference tourney, which I would have loved to have as a boost going into this. But I'm going to stick with them to turn it around and get a win in the big dance.
Right off rip, Moses and I have our first disagreement. I have Boo Booey and Northwestern advancing. To me, the biggest problem, one of many problems in this bracket, FAU is not deserving of an 8 seed at all.
Yeah.
They were closer to being, to me, they're closer to being out of the field than an 8 seed.
Mm-hmm.
It's ridiculous that they got this big of an advantage as they did, but this is what they get. Returning a lot of their players from that Final Four team last year.
Yeah.
Arguably better than that Final Four team. 2 quad 3 losses, shaky year, and a shaky end of the year. I am not super confident in Northwestern. They have great 3-point shooting, and I think they have the best player in this game. And that's the difference with Northwestern advancing, going to the round of 32.
Yeah.
This next bracket of games, this next section, I will be seeing both of these games back to back. Very excited to see how they pan out. One of them, a little Mountain West team that you may be familiar with.
Yep.
San Diego State made it all the way to the championship game. Jaden Ledee has ascended into superstardom.
Yep.
One of the best players in college basketball. UAB on a crazy run.
Yeah.
Ends up with a 12, which I think is pretty generous. I thought they were 13.
Yeah.
But here they are. They've got the Aztecs, the popular 12/5 upset, Mo. Are you buying into it?
This time, I'm not. I'm sticking with the Aztecs, but I can see UAB pushing them in this game for sure. Like we said, Ledee and company, very solid team. San Diego State, probably 7-man, 8-man rotation over there. Solid bench pieces that can come in and fill the minutes for their starters when they need a little rest. So I'm a fan of the squad. Watch them throughout the season. Know what they're capable of. Tough loss in the conference tourney final.
Yeah.
But I think they turn it around here, get a dub in the first round.
And Moses and I are back on track. I've got the Aztecs advancing as well. Top 10 in adjusted defensive efficiency. They're 9th overall in college basketball. No surprise there. It feels like San Diego State's calling card, the best part of their teams, always is their defense.
Yeah.
It's the same this year. Very solid team. We'll see if UAB can stay hot, no pun intended, but I've got the Aztecs as well.
Yep.
This next one, Auburn, a top 10 team in both defensive and offensive adjusted efficiencies. Just a menace.
Yeah.
They're a tank. We talked about it in our bracketology where they only had one quad one win going into the SEC tournament.
Mm-hmm.
And then they said, well, guess what? We're back.
Yep.
We're good. And we're going to win the SEC to show everyone how good we are. I think they were deserving of a 3 seed, but that's neither here nor there.
Yep.
I've got Auburn advancing to face San Diego State.
I agree with you on this pick as well. Yale, a familiar spot for them being a 13 seed. They upset Baylor a couple years back, beat Baylor a couple years back. So they've been here before, seen this side of the bracket. But like we said, Auburn coming off a huge SEC tourney win.
Mm-hmm.
Just they're catching fire. Touched on it a little bit. Really deep. One of the best bench scoring teams in the country. Gonna have them facing off the Aztecs in the second round.
Yeah, I agree. Auburn showed, there were a couple teams that showed me something. Like, I liked Auburn throughout the season, but I wanted to see that, like, okay, you can string these quality wins together, and they did that in the SEC. The next game, though, you get BYU, who's playing a Thursday game. They are a 6 seed instead of a 5 because they can't play on Sundays. And that kind of messes things up for them. It messes things up for Duquesne, James Madison, everyone.
Mm-hmm.
But BYU getting Duquesne shocking everyone, being one of a billion bid stealers.
Yeah.
Do you have BYU advancing, or do you have this double-digit upset?
They transferred over to the Big 12 after being an independent team for a while and showed out in a very competitive conference. Sticking with the Cougars here to keep it going, rolling into second part of the first weekend. But like you said, Duquesne, man, unbelievable run.
Mm-hmm.
No one expected them to be here, and they're here. They get to go dancing.
Yeah.
Anything can happen, but I just like this Cougs team all around a little bit more.
Mm-hmm. This Cougs team, I agree. I have BYU winning as well. Live and die by the 3. They're able to shoot. They shoot the ball a lot from deep, and they hit a lot from deep. It's definitely their team motto. I like Duquesne. They do have, if you're interested, in coaching and things like that, LeBron's former high school coach is the coach at Duquesne, and they've shocked the world. They deserve a lot of credit for being here, but I, along with Mo, have BYU getting it done.
Yep.
On to the next game in this region, the Fighting Illini taking on Morehead State. Morehead State, I feel like against a couple other 3 seeds, I might be tempted to go for the big swing.
Yeah.
But I think the Illini are red hot at the right time.
Yeah.
Their defense has been weaker, and that's definitely, I think they're like in the 140s in defensive efficiency.
Scary.
But they've improved over these past couple of games. Offensively, they are a juggernaut. And I've got Illinois notching a win over Morehead State.
Agree with everything you have to say here. A team in Morehead State that we were both very high on. I believe we both picked them to win their conference tourney, and they did so. But as you touched on, fighting the Illini on fire, clicking at the right time, and a team that I can see going kind of deep in this draw that they got. So,
yeah, I agree with you.
Yeah.
They're a dangerous team. If there's one thing that's going to catch them slipping either in this game or their next, as far as they dance, it's that defense.
100%.
It's not like Alabama level bad, but it's bad enough to where you can give up some runs pretty easily.
For sure.
So we've both got it. I almost said, I don't know how I was going to say Illinois, but it would have been wrong.
Yep.
The next game, Bulldogs and Cougs going at it. WSU, welcome back to the big dance. Drake, back from last year.
Mm-hmm.
We called it. We called it to pat ourselves on the back a little bit.
Yep.
Drake coming through, kicking some ass. WSU sitting there as a 7 seed after a great season. A team we both saw live.
Yeah.
Who have you got in this crazy game?
It's going to be a great matchup here. And I'm noticing in this region specifically, especially in the first round, sticking with the chalk again, going with Washington State. I think Drake could definitely win this game. I'm not very confident in this pick, but either way, unfortunately, I'm going to have a spoiler, the Cyclones winning the next game, so I'm willing to take a risk here. Like the Cougs, great season. I was very high on them in our original bracket prediction with different matchups, different seeding. That is slightly changed, but I still think they're going to get a win in March. Welcome back to the big dances, A said. Get a taste, get a win, recoup, get back at it next year.
Yeah, I think this might just be, there is a chance that this is the best game in the first round.
Yeah.
This is as 50-50 of a game as it gets.
Mm-hmm.
I think for Drake, the big thing, the advantage they have is, to me, they have the best player in the game. And Tucker DeVries can go for 25, can go for 30. But I am joining Moses. I've got WSU winning, tallest starting 5 in all of college basketball.
Yep.
They're able to get at you defensively, make things tricky for you. And experienced as well. This is just a quality Cougs team that we both really loved a little while ago. Still really like them, obviously, but things have my expectations have tampered it a little bit for the team.
Agreed.
With that being said, the last game of this first round in the East region, Iowa State, South Dakota State. You said you have Iowa State knocking out WSU, so I would assume you've got the Cyclones here.
I do. They've turned it around this year to end the season off. Unbelievable run in their Big 12 conference tourney. That's Big 12, right? I'm not tripping. Okay, I thought they were Big 10 for a sec. But knocking off Houston in a decisive manner. So they're just rolling with the Cyclones.
Yeah, I am joining you there. That defense suffocating, and they're able to keep up with you offensively as well. Some great guard play from the team. A team that was done dirty in this bracket. They, at minimum, are the best 2 seed. The fact they were the last 2 seed is ridiculous, but I've got the Cyclones advancing as well.
Yep.
On to the round of 32, UConn and Northwestern for me. For Moses, he has FAU. Mo, do you got another Cinderella run for FAU?
Unfortunately, their season's going to come to an end here. Facing off against the defending champs, the Huskies. We've touched on it throughout. They have gotten better this year somehow after winning a national title. Freshmen coming in, making an impact. returners coming back, staying strong. Got the Huskies.
Yeah. I agree. I have Northwestern, but the outcome I think is the same.
Yep.
UConn's too good. It
Yeah.
really just comes down to that. Northwestern has the capabilities to make this complicated, to make this a one possession close game. But I think the Huskies are just too good.
100%.
The least amount of holes, I think, of any team in the bracket.
Yeah.
So there's a reason they're the number one overall. On to the next game to meet the Huskies in the Sweet 16. San Diego State and Auburn. This is one where I think Auburn keeps rolling. I think their hot streak continues. They go into the Sweet 16 with confidence. As Mo said, this region is a little chalky.
Yeah.
But it's because it's the best region.
Yeah.
There's the best 1, 2, 3, 4, in my opinion. So this is what you get. Yeah.
I 100% agree with you. Kind of crazy to think that 2 Final Four teams last year are going to be knocked out in the first weekend this year.
Yeah.
But that's what I got. Tigers coming off the SEC tourney like we've been talking about. San Diego State, man, I don't know. If they won the Mountain West, I probably would have debated this one a lot more. But once I saw the matchup, I went with the Tigers.
Yeah. I think in Auburn, as I said, top 10 offensive and defensive efficiency. They're able to suffocate you and they're able to get buckets. And that combo is dangerous because even if San Diego State is able to slow things down, make it, muddy the water a bit for Auburn, Auburn is able to do that too. So I feel like that cancels out and I trust Auburn's offense a little more than San Diego State. So
agreed.
That's the reason there. This one is a scary one.
Yeah.
I spent some time on this one.
Yeah.
Because Illinois does have those spurts where they struggle to score the ball.
Yeah.
And BYU can light you up with threes. Fast paced. Who have you got in this matchup?
Like you said, man, this was a tough one. I went back and forth on this one for a while. Staying with the chalk. I'm going with the Fighting Illini. But like you said, if their defense comes to a sputter and they stop hitting shots for a little bit, BYU goes on a run, they might not give that lead up again. So
yeah,
definitely got to be careful in this matchup. But I like what the line have been doing. I think they have the best player in Terrence Shannon, future NBA guys. So going Illinois.
Yeah, I agree. I think ultimately I'm kind of trusting the 3-headed monster that Illinois has in Terrence Shannon, Marcus Damask, and Coleman Hawkins. I think that, trio along with the rest of their team is good enough to beat BYU. Again, tough draw for BYU just being that 6 seed when they should have been closer to a 5. This final game, when I initially filled out my bracket, I had WSU beating Iowa State, but that is flipped. It's boring, and I promise you, not all of this bracket is going to be as chalky as this region is.
I agree.
But I think the top, and listen, we know the top 4 aren't going to pan out in this order. It's March Madness. It's not going to happen. But I'm trusting the 4 best teams with the opportunity to get there. WSU has lost 2 of their last 3 games, has given me a bit of a cause for concern. And after picking WSU initially, I'm going with the Cyclones to get it done.
Same here, man. I had WSU going far in our original look. I've changed that thought. I think Iowa State's defense is just going to be a little bit too suffocating for the Cougars.
Yeah.
Obviously, their offense is there as well. Couple weeks ago, you asked me the same question, same matchup. I'm going WSU, but it's crazy how much can change in the last few weeks of a season. So
yeah, I look for teams that are surging and hot at the right time. Iowa State fits that perfectly.
Yeah.
WSU, again, like I said, losing 2 of their last 3 isn't a great sign. Got the Cyclones there. Sweet 16. This region is ridiculous, man. Like it's, oh my goodness. I'm not going to keep, bringing up the same point, but insane. This one I tossed back and forth on, but I'm sticking with the chalk pick. I've got the Huskies beating the Tigers. A great run for Auburn. They've been improved so much. If you asked me a week and a half ago if I'd have them in the Sweet 16, I'd probably say no, but they've bounced back in a big way. I think this is where their struggle to sometimes string wins together against teams that are better than them catches up to them. UConn is just too airtight, and I think that's the difference. The Huskies advance.
Yep, I agree with everything you said there.
Look at us.
Huskies advancing. Like you said, Auburn, this would be an unbelievable run for them, including the tourney, the conference tourney. But I believe that comes to an end here with the strength and ability of UConn.
I agree with you. Credit to Auburn, though. I'm really excited to see them live.
Yeah.
So that'll be a fun game. But yeah, Sweet 16, I get you want further, but if you're a Tigers fan, a Sweet 16 appearance is at least suffice. You're at least okay with that.
100%.
And an SEC title. That's a pretty solid season.
Great season.
This next game, this is where, I don't know if you want to call it an upset, but I've got Illinois advancing all the way to the Elite Eight. I know this team has somewhat struggled to show up in March, but I've got the Illini getting to the Elite Eight and facing UConn. I love Iowa State, love their defense. The Illini, I think, are just red hot, as are Iowa State. This would be a hell of a game.
Yeah, I agree. I'm going with the Fighting Illini here to knock off the Cyclones. I just think the strength of their offense is going to slightly outweigh the strength of Iowa State's defense, but could go either way, man. If Illinois is in shots and Iowa State's clamping up, could be over. But yeah. I'm going with the Fighting Illini.
Yeah, I love Illinois' size too. I think that's what's going to be able to frustrate teams. A team like UConn that has size as well, but I think that's a disruptor. Very good on the glass as well. We've only had one disagreement so far, and it was FAU Northwestern, and we had UConn coming out regardless. To go to the Final Four, though, UConn or Illinois, do you have some magic here? What have you got?
I have the Huskies returning to the Final Four, defending the title, potentially. They can beat whoever I see coming out of the West. But like we've been saying, beating the same drum, this UConn team is just different. They're scary, well coached. This would be a brawl. This would be a brawl between two really good teams. Yeah, two teams that can hang their hat on the offensive end, but also can shut other teams down. Yeah, gonna stick with the Huskies to beat out Illinois.
I think this is where UConn's defense compared to Illinois' defense is that difference maker. I've got UConn as well. I'll be totally honest. So we both have UConn Final Four. Given all the talent in this region, there are so many landmines for UConn to slip up on. If they even make the Final Four, what a success. Even if they lose there, given the sheer talent in this region, I'm joining Moses. I've got UConn in the Final Four. It's the chalky pick. But when we go down into the West, Moses, we're going to have a lot of disagreements in this. I off of what I'm going to do, I know you're not going to agree. Yeah. And that's okay. Yeah. That's okay. For in the West, North Carolina's region, significantly easier. Than UConn's. Not to fill out. Way harder to fill out.
100%.
But this is the region UConn deserved.
Yeah, I would have to agree with that statement.
Yeah. You got North Carolina. You got Howard and Wagner. Who do you have winning that? If you just cuz.
I'm going Howard.
I'm going Howard too.
I'm going Howard too. Give me Howard.
So North Carolina against Howard. Have you got it?
Unfortunately, I don't have the 16-seeded Howard winning here. Obviously, first four teams tend to go on runs, at least one of them. I don't think it's going to be one of these two. The Tar Heels looking good. Didn't win their ACC tourney, but it was just they ran into a freak of NC State who was with their backs against the wall playing their best basketball of their lives and seasons. So not going to knock that against them. They moved their way up to the 1 seed after being consistently seeded as a 2 through bracketology videos. So taking the Tar Heels here.
I'm taking the Tar Heels as well. This is, to me, the most insane region. There's always at least one that is just ridiculous. To me, that's the West. There's going to be a lot of upset picks. I don't have a 16 over a 1, though.
Yeah.
Back to the last region. The reason I didn't go back and show like most bracket compared to mine, the only difference is FAU and Northwestern.
Yeah.
So
and we'll do it at the end.
Yeah.
Show
so
complete. Yeah.
You know, you can piece that together.
Mm-hmm.
I'm joining Mo, though. I've got North Carolina. And then you have, talk about overseeded, both of them, in my opinion.
Insane.
It's, again, I don't want to keep bringing up Boise State or something like that because I don't want it to be annoying. I know as a listener, it's annoying to hear people like bring up the same team over and over. You just can't tell me that this is how the bracket was supposed to be.
It's so ridiculous, dude.
It's insane, but you got Mississippi State and Michigan State both semi limping their way in.
Yeah.
Mississippi State took care of business against Tennessee.
For sure.
Michigan State with that win over Minnesota locked them in.
Yep.
What do you got?
Going with the Spartans. Not too confident in this pick. But again, like most 8-9s, it's basically 50-50. But gonna trust Mr. Izzo and the experience to overpower the Bulldogs. But
I agree.
Yeah.
I think, they're both 2-5 in their last 7, which is crazy.
Yep.
The one difference, and I think in a vacuum, Mississippi State is the pick.
Yeah.
One of these teams is being coached by Tom Izzo, though.
Yeah. It's a big kicker.
It's sadly that simple to me. 50-50 game. If you told me Mississippi State won, there's no surprise out of me. But yeah, I've got Michigan State as well.
Mm-hmm.
But now you got St. Mary's. The Gales is a 5 seed, winning the WCC regular season and conference tourney. Dominant. They've had 1 loss since Christmas. And it was at home against Gonzaga in the last game of the regular season.
Yep.
If you have not seen St. Mary's, as a Zags fan, it sucks to watch him play a little bit because he's awesome. But Aiden Mahaney, I've always said he's a sophomore. He is LaMelo Ball light.
Yeah.
Like, he is the light version. I don't mean that in a disrespectful way. It's his play style. It's kind of flashy.
Yeah.
He'll hit some sexy dribble moves. He'll pull up and hit a 3 and then stick his tongue out and let everyone know he's him.
Mm-hmm.
Grand Canyon. We saw the end of their conference tournament game.
Yeah.
Mayhem. I know this is a really popular upset pick. I'm sticking with the Gales to get it done. The 5 seed advancing. Are you joining me in this pick?
Like you said, very favorable upset pick for many.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trusting St. Mary's, though. They're coming up to Spokane to play this game, an area that they're familiar with, an area that they won this season.
Mm-hmm.
So they've already shown that they can control the crowd up in the Pacific Northwest. But all that aside, I just think they're the better team here. Grand Canyon, unbelievable season. What was it? 3 losses, I believe.
They were amazing.
Just an unbelievable year from them. But I think the run comes in at 4 losses, 29-4. Unbelievable season, but I think that comes to an end against a superior Gales squad.
I think so too.
Yeah.
I think what St. Mary's does on the glass as well, so strong, very solid team. If you pick GCU, more power to you. On the point of them playing in Spokane, and I'm glad you brought that up, I'm curious to see how St. Mary's and San Diego State are treated in Gonzaga territory.
Yeah.
Because both teams went into the McCarthy Center, took care of business.
Yeah.
So what is it? Is it going to be and GCU is going to have a great turnout.
There's a lot of people from there in this area.
Yeah. So I'm curious to see kind of like how is St. Mary's treated here?
For sure.
Like,
it's gonna feel like a road game, but
I'm curious. Yeah, because
they've showed this year that they can handle that.
Yeah.
So,
I'm sticking with you.
Yeah.
Got the Gales. And here's one of those landmine boomer bust teams in Alabama. When we talked about some upset teams, you had mentioned that Charleston was one you liked. Are you putting your money where your mouth is and having an upset?
I'm a man of my word, but I know that doing this is a potential make or break on my bracket. This Alabama team, we've touched on it throughout all our videos. They could put up 120, but they could lose 130 to 120. So it's a scary pick. It's one I'm willing to make. Charleston, 12-game win streak, coming off their conference tourney, winning it in overtime. I'm a big fan of this team. They passed the eye test for me. Alabama, I'm just a little too worried. I'm a little too shaky on them. But if Bama does go on to win this game, they could not stop until they're in the Final Four or in the championship. So that's my big concern. But I am going to put my money where my mouth is and stick with Charleston.
I am doing the same.
Wow.
Picking a 13 seed in Charleston,
Yeah.
10 deep. Like we said, they roll those 10. They start their starters like 60% of the game.
Yeah.
Then they roll in that bench and they trust them. This, everything Moses said, this pick feels awful.
It's so scary.
And it feels to me, Bama, we've said all year, they have the upside to go Final Four to the championship because of that offense. And that defense is not good, but they have that upside offensively. But the way they've been playing has given me real concern. Charleston has won however many straight, 12
Yeah.
straight. I'm trusting the hotter hand. I get the conference difference. I understand all that. This is one of those upset picks, definitely the biggest one we've had so far.
Yep.
Which is a perfect segue for me.
Your upset pick.
My upset pick, a team I am very bullish on. The New Mexico Lobos. They're a team that I mentioned has the ability to make a run as a double-digit seed. There's one at least every year. And if I were to put my money on any double-digit seed, it is New Mexico. Ridiculously. Like, I can't even put into words how egregious it is that they're an 11 seed.
Yeah.
They're at least a 10. 9 might be a little high. No. If Michigan State is a 9, New Mexico is a 9.
100%.
The great thing for the Lobos, this helped them being an 11.
Favorable
draw. Great guard play. As I said, Jamal Mashburn and Jalen House. You've got the Patino magic. Obviously not Rick, but he's here as well. And I think the veteran leadership from their guards will be enough to disrupt Clemson, who has been kind of weird. Like, I can't quite put my finger on this Clemson team. After winning the Mountain West, I can definitely put my finger on New Mexico. I've got them advancing, pulling off the upset over the 6 seed.
Yep. I agree with you here as well. We're following our upset picks, but watching the Lobos throughout the year, they were a team that my team, Boise State, we beat them both times in the season. I wasn't really too worried about them. And then when it got time to deal with the business, they came through.
They did.
And watching them throughout the tourney, they took us out in the tourney to start things off after they beat Air Force in the first round. Insane run by the Lobos, and I just think that's going to continue.
Yeah.
They turned up the defense. They're hitting shots. They're energy guys coming in off the bench playing well. It's just everything's clicking at the right time for Rick Pitino's son, Richard Pitino. And I'm rocking with the Lobos. So
I love it.
Yeah.
I think too, you look at a team like that and they are hitting their stride the perfect time.
100%.
Like, this is the exact time you want to see a team stringing those wins together in conference play.
Yeah.
The Mountain West was very good this year. Seeing New Mexico end up on top gives me good feelings. But
agreed.
Right below them, highlighted a player in Jacoby Walker and Messi as their big man. Have you got the gall to have another upset pick, or are you sticking with Scott, Drew, and Baylor?
For as high as a seeded team as Baylor is, I did debate this one for quite a while. Colgate, super strong team, handled their conference, won the tournament. They've been here before, made the tournament last year, and pushed the Tennessee team to it wasn't an upset, but it was a very close matchup in the first round. I'm gonna stick with the Baylor Bears. They handled all of their quad 2, quad 3, quad 4 games, and that's what this game would fall into if it was quadded. But do they count March Madness games as part of quad wins?
They should. I mean, it's a quad victory,
right?
So
I don't know how that works,
yeah.
but this would fall under that, and they swept that part of it. They had 9 quad 1 losses for Baylor, which is kind of a cause of concern if they face one of these stronger teams throughout the tourney. But gonna stick with them to get the first round win, avoid the upset.
Yeah, the Colgate dynasty. I'm pretty sure they've been to 5 straight March Madnesses. It seems like they've always been due for an upset. This isn't the year for me, though. I've got Baylor winning. I actually think we both picked Colgate to win their conference.
Yeah.
But I genuinely think this is the weakest team they've had in the past couple seasons.
Yeah.
Not that they can't get it done. Baylor has younger pieces, especially in their starting lineup. But I've got Baylor advancing. Scott Drew, this time of year, is a dependable coach. Has gotten some weird slander from people saying he's not showing up. Like, dude, he just won a championship a couple seasons ago.
Yeah.
Baylor has got it. On to another Mountain West team in this region. We've got Nevada taking on Dayton. Dayton 3-3 in their last 6. They are overseeded. They do not deserve a 7 seed, in my opinion. They have been struggling in a big way. I think Nevada, if they're able to do their job on the glass, gets the victory. Dayton is one of those teams I'm pretty out on, which means they're going on a run.
Probably.
So
I also have the Wolfpack here.
Awesome.
So
So
even more so.
Cool.
But anyway, this Nevada team clicked it on to end their regular season. Won a couple games in the conference tourney as well. This is a team. Their leading scorer, Gerard Lucas. He's not liked by a lot of Mountain West teams and fans and student sections. He has a little goatee. You know, you look at him, you wouldn't really think like this guy can hoop. He's a
but he can.
He hits some crazy shots off the pick and roll that you're like, oh, he's pulling that, and it's like, oh, it's cash. It's like this team is turning around. They're solid. They're 1 through 5. They have a couple bench pieces, well coached. I'm going to stick with them here to take down the Flyers and put a little more respect on the Mountain West.
Yeah, I think this is I think every Mountain West team, no matter if they're rivals, no matter anything like that, they've got something to show.
For sure.
Not just the committee, but fans of like, we deserve to be taken seriously.
Yeah.
Got the Wolfpack winning. I just feel better about them than Dayton.
I agree.
And then you have the final game of this opening round in the West. Arizona in the 2 slot again, where they lost to a 15 seed in Princeton last year.
Excuse me.
Are they upset again, or do you have Arizona riding the ship, showing they're the better team and beating Long Beach?
You know, Long Beach State winning the Big West. They were, I believe, like the 3 or 4 seed in that. So great end of the season for them. Needed to win it to get in, and they did so. I unfortunately do not foresee the Wildcats having another upset on them in the first round. I think they're coming back with that chip on their shoulder to prove themselves, similar to another team that we're going to talk about here in a bit. But I got the Wildcats winning this game. I don't know, though. They're a team that I go back and forth on quite a bit, and we'll see how far I got them. But
yeah, it's Long Beach State, for those of you who don't know the story, fired their head coach. Let him know,
Yeah.
hey, this is your last conference tourney. You could play it out. We're not going to fire you ahead of time, but this is it. So what does he do? He wins his conference.
Yep.
A part of me, in March Madness fashion, this would be kind of funny for Arizona to lose.
Yeah.
But I've got Arizona winning. I think the Wildcats, if they lose back-to-back to 15s, we might have to give them a year off.
Yeah.
No matter what their team looks like next year to regroup.
100%.
But I like this Wildcats team.
Yeah.
Up to the round of 32. Holy crap. Michigan State and North Carolina. This is where I think the talent I get the Izzo thing.
Yeah.
I do. I really do. And I know his record as an underseeded team is ridiculous.
Mhm.
It's very strong.
Yep.
But yeah, I think North Carolina's got the talent to get her done, notch a victory, send Izzo packing.
I agree with everything you have to say here. Hopefully my X factor that I talked about and our players to watch out for, Harrison Ingram has a good game alongside his stars, RJ Davis and Orlando Baycott. I just think the talent here overall, I think North Carolina has a couple better players on the court than Michigan State. So
yeah,
got the Tar Heels.
Yeah, I think the talent, I will say, if I'm a betting man, which, I would definitely take Michigan State spread.
Yeah.
I feel like it's a close game.
For sure.
But I just think the talent is there. This will there's always a 1 seed that gets sent home in the first weekend. This will be the most popular pick. Without a doubt. Well, maybe Purdue. But Purdue or North Carolina, I think Michigan State is going to be a popular one.
Yeah.
I don't have it though.
Agreed.
St. Mary's v. Charleston, though, a hell of a game. I respect Charleston, but I think St. Mary's continues their hot season and makes it all the way to the Sweet 16. Randy Bennett has got his guys motivated. As I said, 1 loss since Christmas. It's going to be hard to stop the Gales. They notch a win over Charleston, who knocked off Bama.
Yeah. And knocking off Bama, I think Charleston rolls into this round of 32 game and beats the Gales, man.
Wow.
Cinderella run to the Sweet 16, facing off against the 1 seed. Charleston, they're on the run. I think they continue the run. I don't see it ending. Like you said, St. Mary's team, very tough, unbelievable WCC season for them, if not one of their best that they've had.
Yeah.
Winning both. Hasn't happened a lot in the past few years, especially with the dominance of Gonzaga. But great season. But I think Charleston's destined for a little magic.
Yeah. I think that's totally fair. Listen, as a Zags fan, drop my notes. As a Zags fan, this should say a lot about how much I respect this Gales team, having them go Sweet 16.
Yeah.
I'm not mad at your Charleston pick, though. Obviously, we both have them beating Bama, so them winning an extra game wouldn't surprise me too much. Yeah. The next game, though, New Mexico and Baylor. If you are a fan of guard play, oh my Lord.
Yeah.
This might be the greatest college basketball March Madness guard play game ever.
Yeah.
It is loaded for both sides. And I've got the Lobos staying hot. Another victory. I think they're absolutely dangerous. And this is their win to get to the Sweet 16. You got to have a double-digit seed. Moses has 2 in this region. So,
I do.
I
do.
There we go.
And I'm going to take the Lobos again as well. I just think the heat that they're coming in with, they're going to come into the Bears' den and burn it. Sorry, wildlife enthusiasts. I support y'all, but no, I'm not. Just sorry. I was just trying to think of just a little something. But yeah, no, I think the Lobos come in, the pack comes in, and
devours the Bear.
I was about to do something. I'm done. Yeah.
Okay. So Lobos.
Long story short.
Okay. Yeah, I think this too is where Baylor's inexperience is kind of an issue as well.
Yeah.
New Mexico's guard play tried and true, veteran, both senior guards. And I think they have the defense in that play to cause problems for Baylor.
I agree.
Will we have a Mountain West battle with Nevada or New Mexico with another double-digit seed? Or do you have the Wildcats continuing to right their struggles from last season?
This is going to be a really good game, I think. But I think the size of Arizona, the rebounding ability, I think it's going to overwork the Wolfpack here, and they're going to come away with a victory, make it to the second weekend for the first time in a little while.
I agree with you.
Yeah.
I like Nevada, obviously, but I think the Wildcats have a chip on their shoulder, similar to Purdue. They've got something to prove. You at least have to make that Sweet 16. I think they do so, taking on New Mexico.
Yep.
Going up to the top. As for me, I have North Carolina and St. Mary's battling it out. Moses has North Carolina and Charleston. Do you have Charleston going Elite Eight?
This is where my glass slipper falls off and breaks.
Man,
I got the Tar Heels.
Yeah.
And in the Cinderella run of Charleston. But they're making it this far. Obviously, they could win the game.
Yeah.
Anything could happen at this point, but I just think the blue blood shines through and handles business here.
Yeah. If I had that, I would agree.
Yep.
And if you're a Charleston fan, nothing to be mad at. You
For
made it to the
sure.
Sweet 16 as a 13 seed. As for me, I have the Gales. When I always do an initial bracket, the moment we get the bracket, I don't look anything up. I just go off vibes, straight vibes.
Yep.
I had St. Mary's winning.
Yeah.
I have North Carolina winning, though, in this official bracket. I just love their draw. This region was so kind to them. Not to discredit any teams in it, but compared to, again, to beat I don't even know if I can say that on YouTube, but to beat a horse, the UConn's region is so much harder. I like North Carolina getting it done, going to the Elite Eight.
Yep.
But now we've got the Lobos hot, staying streaky, taking on Arizona. What do you got?
Similar to Nevada, I unfortunately think the size of the Wildcats comes into play here. They can shut down New Mexico's second chance points. That's what they've been dying on that hill. They've been getting offensive boards. They've been getting their extra buckets. They've been blazing on the fast break, just cooking teams on that. If Arizona can clamp up, make them play half court offense, have it not be a track meet of a game. They control the pace of play. I think they would handle the Lobos. But if they're coming in that hot, and they can continue that energetic bubble that they got, wouldn't be mad at an upset pick here. But I don't got the guts to do so.
Well, you teed me up real nicely.
Oh, wow.
This is where the run ends for the Wildcats. New Mexico getting a victory, going all the way to the Elite Eight.
Yeah.
Genuinely, I think the biggest thing for me, Arizona comes into this tournament and I don't feel great. And after what I felt last year, I've got the Lobos. They're surging at the right time.
Yep.
So I've got North Carolina taking on New Mexico. I said this is my crazy region. I'm proving it with some of these picks.
Yep.
You have Arizona and North Carolina. So while you have a ton of upsets, you've got mayhem
for sure
in this region. You feel like the top two seeds will meet in that Elite Eight.
At the end of the day, similar to you touched on it with the North Carolina's draw, I'm just a fan of Arizona's draw at the bottom of this region.
Yeah.
And think they're on a collision course to meet here in a little Caleb Love, RJ Davis.
That would be so fun.
A return.
Oh, man.
In the Elite Eight would be insane. Must-watch game. I would stick with the Tar Heels to come through. I know I got 2-1 seeds so far. It's what I got, man. That my eye test, my research, my gut picks going through this bracket. I'm sorry if you hate it. It's what I'm feeling.
They call this tournament.
Oh, wow. No way.
They call this tournament
Not again, dude.
March Madness.
Boise's not going to have to sit through this again and have another.
I think they do. I have the Lobos going Final Four. When I said this region is crazy, when I said New Mexico is my team to go on this deep run, I didn't say win a game. I didn't say win 2 games. I think they come out of this region and shock people. Listen, I know this one is going to get backlash, and that's totally fine with me.
Dude.
My logic when I get my Final Four, the way I try to set it up, I try to have 2 1 seeds because I get it. There were none last year, but they're the best for a reason. This year, the top 3 1 seeds were very dominant. And then I have a 2 or 3, and then I have normally a mayhem pick in the mayhem region. I think that's what the West is. I've got New Mexico meeting UConn in the Final Four.
They could lose to Clemson, though.
Without a doubt. Without a doubt. PJ Hall, like, I'm not trying to slander. If you're a Tigers fan, this should make you feel great. I'm not dissing your team, your school, your anything at all by picking New Mexico. Listen.
I gotta respect it, bro, because I was scared with my Charleston pick, dude. Like, I was worried with that. I didn't have the guts to the Cones to take them that deep, but coming off the Mountain West tourney, putting some respect on the conference again. All right, can't be too mad at you.
And Tar Heels fans, before you get mad, please know, one, and most importantly, I don't care. And two, you were in the Elite Eight. It's not like I have you losing to a 16. Like, this is my bold pick. I told Moses before we started recording, because we don't talk picks, there is one region where I have one pick that I know is going to get hate. This is the one.
Threw me a curveball, though. I was trying to formulate something else, but
I just feel like the Lobos are due. Maybe it's the San Diego State Magic from last year in the Mountain West.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm kind of fighting for all those teams a little bit with this pick. But yeah, New Mexico and UConn, man, an 11 seed in the Final Four.
All right.
As for Moses, he does have North Carolina and UConn. A little more realistic.
Maybe too realistic.
Maybe.
So
maybe.
We'll see, man. I mean, like I said, I can't be mad. I'm chalked up. You're mayhemmed up.
Yeah.
It happens every year. I didn't have it.
No. And
I'll respect it.
Before we filmed this video, I was like, listen, I really want to redo this pick, but listen, I'm doing it.
Yeah.
I'm doing it. I'm doing it. And who knows? We have a little more time until, the day. Maybe I kind of ease off the gas a little bit, but initial thoughts, I'm giving New Mexico their respect.
Excuse me. Jeez. Yeah. Respect, man.
On to the South. Houston
South region, dude,
versus Longwood. Houston, to put it bluntly, they got their ass kicked by Iowa State
badly,
but I think they're getting it back in blood this time. They're knocking Longwood out, and they're going to the round of 32.
Team that we both respected in their conference tourney in Longwood, but I agree, going with the best defensive team in the country, along with the pretty steady, solid offense and the 1 seed in this region. I got Houston.
Yeah, I think Houston, honestly, and this is kind of a preview for what I have the rest of the way. I think Houston getting smacked in the face by Iowa State, being shown this is worst case scenario, offensively and defensively, of what can happen. I think it sets them up nicely here in the South to make some noise, to go on a bit of a run.
100%.
So yeah, both of us have got Houston in that one.
Yeah.
This one is a a little more difficult. We got Nebraska versus Texas A&M. A&M, I get they've been better as of late.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Them being a 9 is a little iffy.
Agreed.
Nebraska is kind of a home court hero. They have impressed me a little bit more though. But who have you got in this 8-9 game?
I do. I got the Cornhuskers taking down the Aggies in this matchup. Similar to our other 2 8-9s. I don't blame you with choosing the other team, but the ability of the Cornhuskers taking down a number 1 seeded team in Purdue already this season. We've seen the highs, we've seen the lows. March, anything can happen.
Yeah.
Give me them in a 1-game series.
I totally agree.
Yeah.
I think this is where Kaze Tominaga hoops. He's a senior. The Huskers finally back in the tournament.
Yeah.
Beat Texas A&M. This is a fun matchup though. Like Mo said, if you pick A&M, I'm not going to say anything.
Mm-hmm.
This is as 50-50 as it gets.
For sure.
But I'm respecting Nebraska in this game. The next game though, Wisconsin and James Madison. This will probably be the most popular 12 over a 5.
Yeah.
I would imagine.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm a part of that. So I have James Madison winning. They've been on fire, beat Michigan State. However, like we said, Wisconsin got hot. And
they did.
At the perfect time.
Mm-hmm.
And a week and a half ago, you give me this matchup. I picked James Madison and I move on.
Yeah.
This time when I saw it happen, I was like, "Oy, I'm picking James Madison, but this doesn't feel as fun as I thought it would."
100%. This James Madison team, man, started the season off with a bang, taking down a ranked Michigan State. Freaking 31-3 on the year, 3 losses, any level. You got to respect it. It's a combination of amazing coaching, players executing, everything going right for a team. Like you said, this is a very popular 12-5 matchup that a lot of people are going to go with JMU, team that I was high on, the team I picked to win their conference tourney. The Badgers have grown on me in the way that they've played the last few weeks, and I am sticking with them. I got Wisconsin knocking off JMU.
And again, a week and a half ago, I would have argued for you to reconsider.
Yep.
I can't do that now. So
yeah,
I've got James Madison, but man, Wisconsin is playing really good. This is the kind of basketball they were playing in December and November, like the start of the season.
Yeah.
And then they stopped and really, really struggled.
Mm-hmm.
And now all of a sudden I'm like, wow, they might go on a bit of a run.
Yeah.
So I've got James Madison, but not greatly.
Mm-hmm.
Next game, Duke and Vermont. The Blue Devils, a little more senior led. Normally, you expect them to be, one and dones.
Mm-hmm.
They've got some veteran leadership.
Yeah.
Obviously, Filipowski is the big reason for that. Do you have Duke winning this, or do you got an upset here?
We've touched on Vermont a little bit. It's a solid team.
Yeah.
We kind of projected them in this area. I believe we said they were going to be like 13-14 seed. Again, not a walk in the park. I feel like most people are just going to see Duke, Vermont, click on Blue Devils because they're the team. They're more well known. I'm joining that party as well. I have the Duke Blue Devils winning this game, but I'm a little concerned. This Duke team, they're a lot shakier than teams of the past. Up and down season, interesting storylines, just a lot going on down in North Carolina for Duke. But I got them winning this first round matchup.
Yeah, I agree with everything you said.
Yeah.
I've got Duke winning, but they have not impressed me much as of late. And that will show in their next game. But I don't love what I've seen from Duke lately. Could they prove me wrong? Absolutely. Are a lot of more casual people going to pick Duke because they see a 4 and they think they're getting a value pick?
Yep.
Yeah, but I don't think this is the team
Agreed
to do that with. And again, I could be wrong, but
Something about it.
Yeah.
Vibe they're giving off.
Mm-hmm.
I would agree with that.
But we both got them winning this one.
Yep.
Respect to Vermont, though. I agree, though. I think a lot of people will pick Duke and not even think about Vermont, which I don't think is fair.
Mm-hmm.
The next game, though, NC State, your boys coming in hot after an ACC chip. Do they stay hot against Texas Tech?
Similar to Charleston, sticking with what I said. Upset team, going with the NC State Wolfpack to take down the Red Raiders. Touched on it a little bit in the upsets video. I am not extremely confident in this pick.
Yeah.
And I am, spoiler, again, going to have Kentucky winning whoever comes out of that game. But the ACC win, the 5 wins in a row, the momentum, I think they carry it into this first round and slap the Red Raiders in the face.
Damn.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think NC State, as we said, is one of the most, maybe not the most, but in the same vein of a Duquesne or other bid stealers. They won 5 games in 5 days in the ACC, knocking off Duke, knocking off North Carolina, Virginia, Syracuse, like very quality, good teams. Can they keep that going, though? Can they keep that momentum? I don't think they do. I think Texas Tech beats them. I think that kind of Cinderella run they had in the ACC tournament ends here, and Texas Tech comes out on top.
Yeah, I'm not mad at the pick.
On to the next game. Kentucky, a team you've been pretty bullish on, even with some of their defensive lackings.
Yeah.
That offense is explosive, though. Taking on Oakland, a team I think we both had winning their conference.
Neither of us did. We disrespected Oakland.
Oh, damn. Yeah, we did. Oakland.
I had Wright State because I saw their offense, was really a big fan, thought they were going to come through and win, but the 1-seeded Oakland winning the regular season and coming out, showing us up, winning the conference tourney as well.
Mm-hmm.
So they're feeling good. Obviously, would have liked a different draw than the Wildcats, but I'm going with Kentucky here.
I am too.
I think they're just gonna overpower this team and come away with the victory. Touched on Reed Shepherd in our players to watch video. They got Rob Dillingham. They're deep. They're young, but they're a wise team, like we've talked about.
Yeah, I agree with you. I've got Kentucky. That defense scares me, but that offense is legit. So I've got the Wildcats moving on. This next game, I'm just going to say right now, I'm putting a massive pin in the way this plays out because we have to see Boise, Colorado, and how they are. Massive injury to Florida's big man. Wishing him the best in his recovery. Very ugly. Hoping he gets healthy. I've got Colorado, as much as this pains me to say, beating Boise State and then playing Florida off of that. Mo, who do you have between your Broncos and the Buffaloes?
I got to come clean. I have the Buffaloes taking down my Boise State Broncos. And I hope I'm wrong. That doesn't mean I'm rooting for Colorado. I'm obviously pulling hard for Boise State. But we just got absolutely screwed with our draw. Even if we do go on to win this game, I think the Gators beat either of these teams. One of the toughest 7 seeds after playing a play-in game, an extra game, while they're just sitting back, practicing, resting. It's awful. It pains me to say we're going to go 0-10 all time. March Madness. Still no wins.
I will say, so it feels like every play-in team, every year, there's always a team that wins their play-in and wins a couple games in March. I would put money on it being this one instead of the Colorado State-Virginia one.
Yeah.
If I had to pick.
I agree.
But I think the Gators are going to overwhelm them. I've been a big fan of Florida. Yeah. I love their guard play. Walter Clayton is a beast. And I've got them advancing to the next round. But I don't know. I'll have to see Colorado. This is one I will tweak maybe, but
depending on how the game goes, depending on if they blow Boise State out, depending
Or
on
vice
if
versa.
Boise State blows Colorado out, which I think they can. And I hope I'm wrong in what I'm feeling. But just as soon as I saw our draw and as soon as I saw the reaction from the live reaction in Boise, the team, the fans, it was silent. It was somber. It was a complete vibe kill, and we got screwed. That's all I got.
No way around that.
Yeah.
I feel like that's consensus too.
Mhm.
Like, but that's neither here nor there.
For sure.
Both of us have Florida though advancing.
Yeah.
And this next game, I think if you wanna get bold with a pick, if you want to pick a 2 seed to lose round 1, this is the one to do. All respect to Shaka and Marquette, but Tyler Kolek just coming back worries me a lot.
Yeah.
Like, you're throwing him into the fire knowing last year you only made it to the round of 32 and then lost. I had him in the final 4 last year.
Same.
So I like this Marquette program. I have them beating Western Kentucky.
Agreed.
But this is the least confident out of any of those 1 or 2 seed first round matchups.
By far, it's scary. The health question mark is the big thing here. Again, it's kind of hard to expect a guy who's been out for this long to come back and retain that midseason, end season form. It's going to take a couple games to get going, and in the big dance, it's kind of hard to afford that. So we'll see how the season goes for this Marquette team. The rest of it, I should say.
I agree, and it'll be hilarious when this is the team that goes on like a Final Four run,
they make it to
like
the championship,
because I was in on them last year, so now that I'm out, guess what?
100%.
But back into the round of 32 now. On to the next round, we have Houston, and we both had Nebraska, right?
Yes.
Winning this?
Yes.
Cool. Do the Cougars slip up here?
It's definitely a scary matchup for them. Like we said, the Huskers having the ability to beat these top-seeded teams. One game, anything can happen. Unfortunately, the defense of Houston, I think they're going to shut down Nebraska and come out with a victory.
Yeah, I agree. I think this is where Nebraska not being the best on neutral sites or on the road kind of hurts them because Houston is fine. I fully understand the Iowa State thing scaring some people off. It doesn't scare me. They won 30 plus games in the hardest conference after making the move over there.
Yeah.
Where people were like, oh, they might be a 3 seed, 4 seed, like still good. They're right back on track. Jamal Shed, favorite player in the country, absolute dog. I think Calvin Sampson has his guys ready to go and knocks off Nebraska.
Yep.
On to the next round, you have Wisconsin Duke. I have James Madison and Duke. Do you have Wisconsin keeping it going?
I do.
Wow. Okay.
I have Wisconsin knocking off the Blue Devils. Not super confident in this team. You know, a lot of tough quad 1 losses, a lot of good quad 1 wins that kept their season alive, and a couple clutch wins in their conference tourney to solidify their spot as a 5 seed. But I just think Wisconsin, Duke, we've seen this matchup before in the championship, I believe, and Wisconsin came out with the victory. I think history rears its head again, and the Badgers come out with the victory this time in the round of 32. But
man, that team was like Frank Kaminsky, Sam Decker. That team was awesome.
Yep.
I think it's funny that you have Wisconsin. What I was gonna say, without spoiling, I was gonna say whoever wins that James Madison Wisconsin game, I have going Sweet 16.
Yeah.
So I have James Madison making that run as a double-digit seed. But if Wisconsin beats them, I would lean them over Duke just with how well they're playing right now. Yeah, so
that's what I'm basing my pick on.
Different teams, but they're from the same first game for Mo and I.
Yep.
Onto this bottom part, I have Texas Tech playing Kentucky. Moses has the red hot Wolfpack keeping it going. Do they get another big win? This would be their 3rd blue blood in a week.
A week.
So What do you got?
Would be crazy if they pulled it off, but I do not think that is going to happen here. I think the Wildcats pull out the win. Hopefully defense can stay strong. That's my only worry with this Kentucky team. But I think they pull it out and make it to a Sweet 16 behind Cal.
I agree with you. I have Texas Tech playing Kentucky,
Mm-hmm.
but the result is the same ultimately.
Yep.
I have Kentucky winning. Again, everyone knows what their weakness is and everyone knows what their strength is. Similar to Bama, but not as bad.
Yeah.
I don't think this Kentucky team can win a championship, but they are fully capable of going on a run.
Mm-hmm.
Got them in the Sweet 16 now.
Yep.
In the bottom part of the bracket, Florida versus Marquette for both of us. Tentatively Florida, but that's what we got.
Mm-hmm.
Does Marquette notch another win and keep it going?
I think the Gators put up like 100 points here and
Yeah, you do.
pull out a huge win
Yeah.
against the 2-seeded Marquette.
Yeah, I agree. And again, I hope I'm wrong about Marquette. Well, I don't hope I'm wrong because then my bracket's wrong. But
yeah,
I want to see the program do well. Yes.
Yeah.
I just always want to bring up that, like, with certain teams, just because I have them losing earlier
Mm-hmm.
in a year does not mean I don't like the program.
There's
I
no
love
agenda.
Marquette.
Yeah.
No, I just think if Kolek was 100% healthy,
Mm-hmm.
it's a different talk.
100%.
I'd probably lean Marquette,
Mm-hmm.
but that's not reality. And in the same way, when we talk about Kansas and their health, I think this slips Marquette up.
It's tough.
It's tough. So in the Sweet 16, I've got Houston, James Madison, Kentucky, Florida. Moses has Houston, Wisconsin, Kentucky, Florida. So 3 of the same 4.
Yep.
Do you have Wisconsin continuing to surge, knock off the 1 seed in the region, though?
It's tempting. But like I said, man, you can hate me. I have the chalk here.
Oh,
I have Houston beating Wisconsin, ending their red hot run. But I know it's been a crazy year, and I know that if this is the year that no 1 seeds again make it to the Final Four or whatever it is, this is one of those years. But at the end of the day, with all the money, all the marbles on the line, I think the teams that have been the strongest and most consistent throughout the year going to come through, pull off some big wins.
Yeah.
Give me the Cougars.
Yeah, I have got Houston as well. Again, chalky pick, but it's what listen, after the New Mexico pick, I had to settle myself a little bit.
Yep.
I had to say, okay, I trust this Houston team heavily. I'm going to have them go Elite 8. I know I said it, when we did our MLB video where I said, like, the Braves were, like, due, like, it kind of just felt like their year.
Yeah.
In a lot of ways, this does feel like Houston's time.
Mm-hmm.
So I've got them Elite 8, but Kentucky and Florida, SEC battle, they split the regular season series.
Yeah.
Who do you have coming out with the 2-1 on the regular season?
I got the Wildcats winning the overall season series and the most important game at that in the series in the Sweet 16. I think it'd be obviously offensive matchup. Kentucky's going to need to keep up with the explosive offense of the Gators, but it's worrying because of their defense, and I have a feeling I'm walking you right into your pick here, setting you up, but
Yep.
I'm sticking with the Wildcats. I've been rocking with them. There's a couple teams that I changed my opinions on. This is not one of them. I'm sticking strong.
Sometimes, when your co-host is one of your best friends, they just do such a good job at teeing one another up.
That's crazy.
And that is exactly what my good friend Moses did.
Yep.
I've got Florida in the Elite 8, surging. I think this is where Kentucky's defense handicaps them a little bit. This is one I went really back and forth on, though.
So tough.
Because again, Kentucky's offense is so good that when it's clicking, sometimes if you're the opponent, you just gotta pray.
Yeah.
Like, hey, I hope you miss.
There's
because
not much you can do. Yeah.
No, I'm pressing you. I'm getting in your face. I'm putting a hand up. but you're knocking everything down. And so
Yeah.
that's what that is.
Tip your cap.
I love, though, your Houston-Kentucky matchup.
Mm-hmm.
Total mix matching of styles of clamps
Yeah.
versus buckets.
Yeah.
And
it's going to be fun to watch.
would be so
happens.
fun.
Yeah.
So a part of me does want to see that. I'll be honest.
Okay. All right. I appreciate it.
But I've got Florida going to the Elite Eight. But I want to hear your pick here. The clashing of styles. The Houston Cougars and the Kentucky Wildcats. Calipari got his team getting buckets.
Yeah.
Can Samson do enough to shut him down?
So the chalk haters, not eaters, chalk haters are going to hate me.
Oh.
I have another 1 seed in the Final Four. Give me Houston.
Okay.
I know this might not be realistic. I know this is not what goes down. Not all the 1 seeds make it. People get knocked off. Upsets happen. I have my upsets in other ventures. There's something about these 3 teams that I have so far making it here that has been driving me all year long. I'm trusting my eyes a little bit more than the statistics, the analytics.
Mm-hmm.
I got the Cougars to overpower the Kentucky offense with their absolutely bolstering defense. So
this is one too where when I went off my vibes pick and I had Florida and Houston, I went with Florida.
Yeah.
I felt like, hey, man, how realistic is it to have this many 1 seeds?
It sucks, dude. I feel whack now that we're recording, but I'm already too deep. So
it is. And I think the good thing is, like, you can fill out your own bracket. I always like to do a variety of different ones where it's like, hey, I've got one where I go a little more chalky. And I love North Carolina.
Yeah.
Picking New Mexico over them wasn't easy. But Houston is playing. To me, Iowa State, that game is an outlier.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it's indicative of what you should expect. So I, along with Moses, have the Cougars in the Final Four.
Mm-hmm.
This is my Final Four. You can slant in New Mexico holy crap, North Carolina for Moses.
Yep.
On to the final region.
That looks scary, bro. I don't like it.
It does, but we've got a team.
Luckily, I got my second chance bracket.
And we'll do videos for that too. Because listen, we know we're listen. And before you leave a comment of like, oh, this is wrong, this is whatever. How about you get a perfect bracket? If it's that easy, you do it.
Yeah, why don't you with the comment of you hating, post your bracket so I can find one thing on there that I disagree with.
And I'll
guarantee it. Zay's gonna have something else different for a different region. So it's gonna be like that for everybody.
That's the fun part of the bracket. Now listen, I'll be honest. When ESPN posts Shannon Sharp's bracket, and I know I love Shannon Sharp. I know for a fact he hasn't seen any college ball all year. Maybe a game if he's out with his friends, if he's kicking it with Stephen A. There's a game on in the background. He's like, oh, cool. I like Houston or whatever. When it's all ones, though, it's like, dude, come on. Like he just, or an intern or someone fills it out and then he talks about it so they can draw people.
Yep.
Little rant, but like everyone's going to have different brackets.
Mm-hmm.
That's the fun part. You won't get a perfect one because it's impossible.
Yeah.
But we've got this last region.
Yeah.
Got Purdue. We've got Zach Edey after losing to Fairleigh Dickinson last year.
Yep.
Do they get shot? Well, Montana State or Grambling?
Give me Grambling.
Okay, give me Grambling too. Listen, you can call me a hater because I'm an Eag.
No, I love it.
That's fine.
Yeah.
But I pick Grambling to win their conference.
Yep.
And I've got them beating Montana State.
Mm-hmm.
And then I have them, I'm not kidding, I think Purdue is going to beat the brakes off of them to prove something.
I agree. They're probably going to blow. Like Edie's going to be playing when they're up 20 just to get it to 30 or 40.
I genuinely think this is one of those games where Purdue comes out and Braden Smith getting hurt in the conference chip. He's okay. He'll play. There's no issues there. Mm-hmm. But I was like, oh, man. crisis averted,
Yeah.
because that could have been really bad. But
100%.
putting some respect on Purdue.
Yep.
8 seed out of the Mountain West, unfairly seeded, but here they are. Utah State taking on the Horned Frogs at TCU. Who have you got in this 8-9 coin flip?
Conference that struggled last year in the Mountain West in the first round. This year, I think it's a tale of difference. I'm going with Utah State to knock off TCU.
Yeah.
Love this team all around, led by one of the greatest names in college basketball. Great, awesome more. Just a solid team, bucket. Different team from last year. They hit the transfer portal hard in the offseason and they cashed.
Yeah.
So respect to them.
It may be the most fun story in college basketball of a team that has 0 returning points from a team that made the tournament last year.
Insane.
And they're here.
Yeah.
And they're not just an 8. They deserve to be like a 6,
7, yeah.
7, at least 7. So for them to be here is awesome. I am with you. I've got Utah State. I was watching, I think it was CBS, and one of the guys was like, TCU is way better. They were able to knock off, a team like Houston, and they're able to beat a 1 seed. A team like Utah State can't do it.
Yeah.
TCU has those opportunities because of their conference play. Utah State doesn't have that. They're a great conference. It's really well-rounded. Yeah, they don't get to play at Houston. So I think he said, like, if they played 100 times, Houston would beat them 100 times.
That's insane.
It's like, let's pump the brakes. But I've got Utah State as well.
Agreed.
Dude, you first. You first, please, on this Gonzaga McNeese game.
This one hurts. This is insane draw. Gonzaga has any of the other 12 seeds. JMU it'd be another debate, but even then, I would love their matchup more. This McNeese team is no joke, dude. And Gonzaga has been playing with fire all year long.
Oh, don't do it.
And they messed around and found out. Give me McNeese in the first round to knock off the Bulldogs.
So when the bracket was revealed, I'm sitting there with my pops, and Gonzaga comes up as a 5. And it's crazy because, like, a couple weeks ago, Moses and I would talk, and we'd be like, damn, Gonzaga might not make the turn, like, point blank.
Yeah.
Just might miss out on the tournament. And so then the 5 seed comes up, and I was like, whoa. They oversee. Wow, I thought we would be a 7, a 5. Wow, the committee was nice. That's really nice. And then McNeese came up. As if they know how much I love them.
They know exactly what they're doing.
They know Will Wade, the LSU coach, going to McNeese in his introductory press conference saying, oh, don't worry, 23 wins are guaranteed this year. Well, he lied because they won way more than that. So you have McNeese, and then you have Shahada Wells, a TCU trick. Can you imagine McNeese and TCU? And he gets an opportunity to play his old team.
Damn.
TCU won't make it that far, but McNeese is capable. I know people are going to call me a Zags rider, a Zags homer. I understand, and I can live with that. This game is so difficult to pick. I'm rocking with Gonzaga, but I think out of all the 5-12 games, the hardest one to pick.
It's such a tough matchup, dude. Horrible draw for the Zags.
It's a terrible draw. I'll say it for this one because I truly feel that way. Whoever wins this goes Sweet 16 at least.
Yeah.
So that's why this game I think is so big.
Agreed.
I've got Gonzaga. They've looked like a different team in the past month and a half. Really turned up ever since they put Dusty Strummer to the bench and Ben Gregg in the starting 5. Their size, they're going to battle inside. I cannot wait for this game.
Yeah.
But I also feel like I'm gonna cry.
Yeah, it's gonna.
So it's
that's the one where you're watching it.
Like in silence. You're like, looking at the weather app in between commercial breaks.
Yeah.
Like, damn, this is not fun.
Yep.
I think Mark Few has been to 8 Sweet 16s in a row. So if they lose to McNeese, obviously that's gone.
Yeah.
I can't be mad at your McNeese pick though, but that hurts.
It does. It hurts me a little bit too, but this was a team we've been talking about
We
the
have.
whole time.
We have.
It's upset central.
Yeah. On to the next game. Another Bulldog, Samford, going up against the limping in Kansas Jayhawks. Who have you got in this one?
Watching the Jayhawks without McCullough and
Dickinson.
Hunter Dickinson. It was embarrassing. Like, dude, it was like they couldn't pass the ball.
No.
Like, if I'm Bill Self and I'm the University of Kansas, and we're the Jayhawks and we're a blue blood, and our bench guys can't even run a set. We can't pass the ball. Sorry. We had Matt almost flip the table over. What are we doing, man? So this team's limping in. I have McNeese beating Gonzaga. I don't feel comfortable having Samford also beat Kansas. I know that's stupid reasoning. I'm taking Kansas, but like by the grace of God.
Yeah.
I don't see this team should not this team, it's a joke that they're a 4 seed, unfortunately.
Yeah, I agree.
Like you said, whoever wins the Gonzaga McNeese matchup is going to the Sweet 16. So
yeah,
this pick for me is kind of just a waste, man.
Yeah, so we flipped our upset picks here.
Oh wow!
I said I was totally out on Kansas, and are they capable of beating Samford?
Yeah,
I damn well hope so. You're Kansas.
Yep.
You have Dickinson. You have McCullough. We said it back when we did our like around the leagues casual video in like early February, maybe earlier, late January. And we talked about Kansas, and I said, I'm totally out on them. You have literally no bench. It's not exaggerating either. And I said, you are a sprained ankle away, or you are foul trouble away from losing to any team.
Yeah.
Here we are. McCullough and Dickinson both coming in. They're both not 100%.
Yep.
I don't know what percent they are. Buckyball is what they play in Samford. They have 10 different guys who get like 11 or 12 minutes a game.
Yeah.
It's like hockey. They'll just send in like sub, and it's constant. It's literally the inverse of Kansas, where like Samford's got guys to throw in and trip you up. Kansas has the opposite of that.
Yep.
Give me Samford here. But yeah, that could the Jayhawks win? Yeah, but I think they lose to McNeese or Gonzaga, 100%. So I don't really care.
Yep.
Onto the bottom part of the region, the Gamecocks taking on the Ducks. 2 animals going at it. Who do you have winning?
I got the Pac-12 tourney winners, the Oregon Ducks.
Wow.
Knocking off South Carolina. Another one of my upset team picks. Coming in hot. South Carolina coming off getting blown out. Embarrassed in their tourney final. I'm liking the Ducks. I'm liking their guards. I'm liking their bigs all around. I think they pull off the little upset here.
I will be totally honest. I just I don't know. This one I seriously have flipped back and forth on because I'm not strong, and my confidence is pretty low with South Carolina.
Yeah,
but at the same time, I feel like the Ducks, similar to NC State, are lower on fumes, and maybe that's wrong because my logic with New Mexico is that they're hot.
Yeah.
I've got South Carolina, but like, I feel like that's wrong. I just feel like it's Oregon, but
it's 50-50, I feel like.
Yeah, this one is either way. I truly don't even think it's an upset if Oregon wins.
Yeah.
I think these are pretty even teams. But yeah, I'm curious to see how it plays out.
For sure.
On to the next one. You have Kent State. I mean, we have Akron.
That's so crazy.
Oh, I seriously hope that Kent State player is surrounded by love. And I'm not kidding. This one, I'm not making a joke.
Yeah.
That would be devastating. We're all human. We all make mistakes. But damn, when it's a trip to March Madness,
Hurts, man.
that hurts. Do you have them pulling off the 14 seed upset over the Creighton Blue Jays, though?
I have felt strongly about this Blue Jays team for a while, and they're another team that I haven't changed that thought process on. A little bit, fallen off, couple losses, couldn't win the Big East again for fourth, fifth straight year. Still haven't gotten that monkey off their back, but I think they turn it around and get a win in the first round.
I agree.
Yeah.
I love this Blue Jays team. Great on both sides of the ball. If I was making a list of teams I really, really, really feel like can contend, Creighton is definitely in that mix.
Yeah.
On to the next game. You have Virginia, Colorado State playing Texas. Who do you have between Virginia and Colorado State here?
Give me the Rams. Give me Colorado State.
Yep, me too. Everyone knows how I feel about Virginia, so I'm going to spare myself from sounding like a hater again.
Yep.
I love Ryan Dunn, though. He's awesome. He's incredible.
Yeah.
Arguably the best defender in college basketball,
Yeah.
certainly up there. But yeah, give me Colorado State, Isaiah Stevens against Mac Smith. Holy crap. Give me the guy who has shown up in March. I've got Max Smith and the Longhorns advancing.
I agree. I also have Texas here, a team I was very high on in our original bracket prediction vid. They have given me a little cause for concern with tough loss in the Big 12 tourney.
Yeah.
Blowing a 10-point lead after being up at half. So I've reined it in a little bit. I'm a little bit more realistic with this Longhorns team, but I think that they beat either one of the first four winners, which changing the narrative.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
On to the 2v15. You got St. Peter's. We know what they've been capable of. Taking on Dalton Connect. Top 3 favorite player in the country for me in Tennessee.
Yeah.
Limping in a little bit.
Yeah.
Not looking out. You can. The cool thing about our bracketology videos is you can see our takes evolve over a couple weeks. I went from Tennessee might win it all to, okay, let me rein it in.
Yeah.
Let me relax a little bit. I do have Tennessee advancing, though. I think that defense is something they can hang their hat on when their offense struggles.
I agree. Yep. The Tennessee team, I've been talking about it. They worry me a little bit because I feel like Dalton Connect is off. Their whole team's thrown off.
Oh, yeah.
But like you said, hang their hat on their defense, avoid an upset in the first round.
Yeah.
Get to a tough matchup in the round of 32, though, that we will come back to.
Yeah, I truly think, as I said, talking about Connect, they go as far as he takes them.
Yep.
Because when he's off, that team is not great. They have the defense, but when you can't score the ball, ask Virginia. It's hard to beat teams.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a difficult task.
100%.
So got Tennessee, though.
Yep.
Advancing into the round of 32. Purdue and Utah State. Do you have the Aggies making a big, big win over Purdue?
I wish I did, but the size of Zach Edey and the chip on the Boilermaker's shoulder, I think, is going to knock off Utah State here. Great season from the Aggies, but comes to an end against the consensus for most of the season number one ranked team in the nation. So
I agree. I think Purdue has got something through. At minimum, I feel like they have a pretty nice path to the Sweet 16.
yeah.
As far as after that, we'll see. But I definitely feel like Sweet 16, anything less than that is just abysmal. So
Yep.
I like the Boilermakers to get that done. On to the next game. We literally have flipped games.
Yep.
I've got Gonzaga versus Samford. Mo has McNeese and Kansas. Who have you got in a McNeese-Kansas game?
McNeese to the moon easily.
Yeah. Yep. Cool.
Injuries, no depth. Give me McNeese.
Yeah, I like that you said that because, as I said, whoever wins that game, I've going Sweet 16. I've got the Bulldogs, the Gonzaga Bulldogs, advancing Sweet 16. Mark Few keeps his Sweet 16 stats alive and well.
Yep.
Keeps going.
Mm-hmm.
On to this bottom region. Mo has Oregon and Creighton. I have South Carolina and Creighton. You said you were pretty high on the Blue Jays. Got them going Sweet 16?
I do have
Nice.
them going into the Sweet 16 to face off against either one of the red hot teams in orange.
Yeah. I agree. I have South Carolina playing Creighton, but I've got Creighton. I really like this path to the Sweet 16 for them. I think it's, Akron is good. Kind of got in a fluky way. I don't love the South Carolina-Oregon game. I don't feel confident really in either teams. I'm just so unsure. So I like Creighton advancing to the Sweet 16 there.
Yep.
On to the two teams in orange. You were talking about the Longhorns and Volunteers. Hilariously enough, when we filled out our fillable bracket of Lennar, we had this as a 1-8 matchup.
Yep.
And you picked Texas. Do you stick with Texas now that the bracket's here?
I've changed.
Wow.
I go with the Vols and Dalton Connect to outshoot and outclass Max Abesmith in what could be one of the best games of the second round.
Yeah, I seriously think you could say this is, New Mexico and Baylor is a close second.
Yeah.
But this might just be the best game of the second round.
Mm-hmm.
I think Abesmith and Connect going head to head in March Madness with a trip to the Sweet 16 on the line.
Yep.
Give me that all day.
Mm-hmm.
That would be amazing. In the Sweet 16 now.
You got the Vols?
I do have the Vols.
Okay.
Sorry. Holy crap.
No, you're
I
good.
just skipped over it.
Yeah.
I do. I think Texas it's a team Mo and I both like. I think Tennessee is a little more talented.
Yeah. It hurts me because I was very high on the Longhorns.
Yeah.
I think I had them going to the Elite 8
Mm-hmm.
originally, but kind of come back down to earth. I think the Vols come out, show their true colors.
Mm-hmm. On to the Sweet 16. You have Purdue and McNeese. I have Gonzaga and McNeese. Do you have Purdue keeping it going?
You don't know how bad I wanted to take McNeese here.
Okay.
But I think it comes to an end. The size of Zach Edey, I think it's going to be too much for them. They haven't seen anything like that in any of their conference or non-conference games this year. It's going to be a tough matchup for them, just like most teams that face Purdue. But I think their Cinderella run comes to an end here.
Moses, this to me is one I know what people are going to say. I know. They're going to call me a homer. They're going to say it. And listen, that's fine. I think Purdue has a great chance of going on a run. I have them going Sweet 16. But I have their run ending there. And I know people are going to call me a Zags homer. These two teams battled back in November, and Purdue got out with a 10-point win. They controlled most of the game. Edey got whatever he wanted.
Yeah.
He dominated. He was so good. This is a different Zags team. Graham Ike is in his own. Ben Gregg is in that starting lineup. They have more size, which I think could be disruptive to Edey. The big thing, honestly, and this isn't meant to be a knock on him, is how the game is officiated.
Yeah.
I think this is a game Gonzaga showed that they can battle with Purdue, and this time they get them. And I already know how people are going to react, but I truly believe the Zags have the ability to beat Purdue.
Yeah. Not mad, but
yeah,
I was very close to taking McNeese. So
yeah, it's the same game, but very different outcomes.
Yep.
Onto the bottom part though. Creighton and Tennessee. Oh my goodness, this game would be awesome.
Yep.
Who have you got?
I think Creighton, and they're slightly more formidable as starting five. Has a team effort, slows down Connect, holds the other Vols to mediocre games, and they come away with a victory and get into the Elite Eight. A little bit of redemption after falling short last year. I believe they got eliminated in the Sweet 16.
Yeah, I think Creighton went Elite Eight.
Was it Elite Eight?
Tennessee lost Sweet 16. Yeah. I remember that.
I got it happening again.
Damn.
Yep.
I think one of the best games of the tournament, regardless of round, if this were to happen, I have Tennessee winning.
Yep.
I know Rick Barnes has really struggled in March, and picking Tennessee to go this far scares me.
Yeah.
But there's something about this team, and I know as of late they've struggled, but I just feel like they're due to go on a deep run in March, and I think this is the team that gets them there.
For sure. Not mad at it.
So you have got Purdue and Creighton. This is our region we disagree on the most, which is kind of interesting.
Yep.
You've got Purdue, Creighton. I've got Gonzaga, Tennessee. Who do you have advancing to the Final Four?
I got the Blue Jays crafting the recipe to stop Zach Edey.
Yeah.
Coming out with a victory, making it to the Final Four.
I love it because what I would have said, what I was going to say, but I didn't want to spoil, whoever wins this game of Creighton, Tennessee goes Final Four.
Yep.
And I think this is where the Zags run very, very, very successful season, especially given how the Zags were supposed to do. You live with it. You're happy with it. I like the Vols to advance to the Final Four as a 2 seed. So when you're looking at this, here is my Final Four. You got UConn and Houston as 1 seeds. Tennessee is a 2 seed. And New Mexico as that bold 11 seed, where I think the West region is going to be mayhem.
Yeah.
As for Moses, he has UConn, Houston, North Carolina, and the Blue Jays.
Yeah.
Mo, knocking your Final Four out first. UConn and North Carolina. What do you got?
I got the Huskies to return to the championship and defend their title. Gonna be a freaking classic, I think, of a game if it was to play out this way in Glensdale. All the marbles on the line. Give me the Huskies. Give me Dan Hurley. Give me the experience. And sliding over to the other Final Four matchup, Houston and Creighton. I think the defense of the Cougars propels them to victory. And I got a chalky championship in UConn and Houston. But to round it out, give me your Final Four before I give my pick.
I love it.
Thank you.
My Final Four, I have got, let me edit it. Bam, bam. UConn, New Mexico, Houston, Tennessee. New Mexico, if they made it this far, would have the whole college basketball world in the palm of their little Lobos hands.
Yep.
In their paws. So I don't know what they have, but they'd have something. I know it's standard, but I have UConn making it to the and listen, it's so boring.
Yeah.
It is so boring. But it's boring because they deserve this respect.
Yep.
Like they have their draw is awful. They get really tough teams.
Mm-hmm.
If they make it to the Final Four out of that region, it's going to be hard to stop them.
Yeah.
As for the other side, Houston and Tennessee, I know I said, everything I said about Houston, They feel due. They take care of business and make it to the championship. And while we may not have the exact same Final Four, while our brackets may be different, we have the exact same boring, chalky championship
Insane.
of UConn and
I'm
Houston.
very surprised.
Not boring in terms of teams. This would be, I would love to see that
I
game.
need to see this game.
It would feed families for generations.
Yep.
It would be amazing.
Yep.
Moses, who are you crowning as your national champion?
I had him first time around. I had him last year and changed it last minute. I'm not gonna let the guilt, the torment, I'm not gonna let it happen to me again. You code. Give me the Huskies to defend and go back to back. I know it doesn't happen, but it's happening this year.
The first team since Al Horford, Joakim Noah, and those Florida Gators took care of business to repeat. The difference with that Florida team, a lot of returning players, a very similar team. This UConn team, different, but I think even better than what they had last year. It's boring. I as well have the UConn Huskies repeating as champions. Moses and I last year both. Oh man, UConn looks good. Oh man, UConn looks amazing. Man, when we get our bracket in our hand, we got to take them. We have to. And guess what? Neither of us did. Take UConn to win a title. We correct that mistake.
Not again.
Both of us. UConn wins it.
Never again.
I will say this. Right now, I will say this. If it's not UConn, whoever someone picks that it is the correct champion is going to soar so high up in the rankings for brackets, because 40%, maybe more, of brackets are going to be UConn.
No, definitely. If you pick someone else and they win, you might win just off of that alone.
I agree. And I love kind of what Lenardi said, where he was like, picking UConn is kind of the boring pick, but you need a real good reason not to pick the Huskies.
Yeah.
They've looked like the best team all season.
Mm-hmm.
They've looked like the best team as of late.
Yep.
Houston getting smacked around. North Carolina losing the ACC tournament. Who's the other one? Purdue.
Tennessee.
Losing. Tennessee slipping.
UNC.
Iowa State was surging, but Arizona has problems.
Yep.
The consistent best team has been UConn.
Yep.
Can they slip up? 1,000,000%.
100%.
Is this the boring pick? Yes, as well.
Maybe.
But we both have the Huskies.
But it's the right pick.
It's the right pick. Let us know who you have winning your championship. Let us know your Final Four.
Yeah.
Because I would love to hear who you have. I have a feeling the New Mexico pick may not be very popular, but that's okay. Because it's my bracket. Mm-hmm. So I'm the one that suffers when they lose to Clemson.
For sure. We'll see, though. It's March.
It's March. Let us know some of your trendy teams, some of your hot picks, your champions, your Final Four, your frauds.
Yep.
Let us know whatever you want. And we're on to the best part of the video.
Part that everyone stays for.
Song of the pod. Moses, what do you got?
Just going off the vibe and feel of creating a bracket, I got Impossible by Travis Scott. Beautiful song. Different sounds, different vibes, different paces. And I love every second of this song. And like I said, going off the theme of the video, it's impossible to pick a perfect bracket.
I've already done March Madness by Future. I'm gonna do Sexy Ladies by Justin Timberlake and 50 Cent.
Okay.
JT's Tiny Desk. Bangers.
Mm-hmm.
Straight heaters. One of my favorite artists of all time, unironically. Love JT. The Tennessee Kids are awesome. His band. And that's what we got. Our bracket is complete. It's finally done.
Yep.
We will definitely still have videos recapping how the tournament unfolds. We appreciate you for all of the love you've given us on all of our last videos.
Mm-hmm.
Any last words from you before we sign out?
Go Huskies. Justice for Boise State in the Mountain West.
Man,
And I'm excited for March Madness.
it's that time, baby.
Yep.
Fill out your brackets. Let us know who you got. And we cannot wait to see y'all in the next video.
Later, everyone.
Later.